Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Michelle, and as you can see, this is my first ever video on this channel. Although I am no stranger to being on YouTube, me and my husband actually have a movie YouTube channel, and we've been doing that for I think it's been close to 5 years now. And so I've just recently reignited my love for reading. And so I decided I'm gonna start my own channel where I can talk all about the book stuff. And so yeah, this is what I'm doing. I gotta say it's a little different to be solo, not having someone to feed off of. So you'll just have to bear with me as I get used to, filming by myself. But yeah, my name is Michelle, and I'm so glad that you clicked this video. Hopefully you'll stick around and subscribe. Obviously, this is new for me, but as far as content goes, I do plan to, have videos talking about, what I'm reading. I think the TBR videos are really fun. I plan to do some bookstore vlogs, book shopping vlogs, and yeah, I got lots of ideas that I think would be fun to explore with. And so yeah, so I thought for my first video I could do the mid-year catch-up tag. I don't know if you call it a tag or not, but I've seen this video floating around where everyone shares what they have read thus far. And so we are at the end of July, and I will say, I'm just going to put this disclaimer out there. As far as, in the world of booktube, and I guess I should also acknowledge my dog in the background. That is Tucker. He is a Labradoodle, and yeah, he is a sweetie, but so he might be popping up and down on the bed there. But as far as, being in the world of Bookstagram and Booktube and all that, I definitely am not going to be the girl who reads 20 books a month. You probably shouldn't expect that from me. I'm not going to have these crazy TBR lists. I'm definitely on the lower end of reading. Just a little backstory. I do have, a full-time job. I'm married. I have 2 children. And so I'll save you the spill of just being, a busy adult. But yeah, I definitely, as I've reignited my love for reading, I have found myself reading books quicker. But yeah, it seems to be I just, maybe read 2 to 3 books a month, but we'll see. So yeah, I say all of that to say what I've read thus far is probably not going to be that impressive to some of you, and that's okay. I do believe that it's not a competition, and everybody is in different seasons of life, and some people read a crap ton and some people read a little bit, and we're all just reading however much we want, or maybe we'd like to read more but we don't have time or whatever. But yeah, so anyway, let's get into what I've read so far. Okay, so first up, that I read at the start of the year, which feels like forever ago, is What Does It Feel Like by Sophie Kinsella. And this was a pretty quick read. It was 100-ish pages or so, and the words on the page, they're, it's very minimal, so super easy read. This book is basically about the author, and it's based on a true story, and it talks about her being diagnosed with brain cancer. And it talks about right before she was diagnosed, and then going through treatment, and then after treatment, and just kind of her emotions and what it was like going through all of that. And, you know, she's married and has children. And so you're getting her perspective on, you know, being hit with something that big and just like how you process it and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, this was a very, you know, heartfelt, you know, somewhat emotional read. And yeah, I definitely would recommend checking it out. Again, super quick read. So, okay, next up, I read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And I feel like this one is pretty popular, or was popular. But yeah, so, you know, if you don't know, this one is about a very well-known actress who is now in her later years, and she basically hires someone to write her autobiography. And you know, obviously it goes through her 7 husbands that she had throughout her life, and there's just a lot going on. And yeah, I do feel like this one took me a little bit to get into. But once I got going, I was, you know, pretty invested in it. I will say that the ending, I feel like the author kind of, it just felt a little too, it was like she was trying to give you like some shock factor. Like some stuff was in there that felt like it was just in there to kind of like shock you and, you know, tear your heart out, make you emotional or something. It just felt like it was a little too much going on at the end. But overall, it was still a good read and I would recommend it. Yeah. Okay, next up is Funny Story by Emily Henry. This one is another super popular book, I feel like. This was actually the first book that I have read from Emily Henry, so I do feel like that was a good choice. For some reason, I have such a hard time explaining the plot of this book, but basically your main character was set to get married, but her fiance calls off the wedding because he realizes that he's still in love with his like childhood best friend. And our main character ends up rooming with the childhood's best friend's ex as well. So they do kind of like a switcheroo, if you will. Hopefully that makes sense. And yeah, you know, without giving away too much, I think you can probably figure it out. But they, you know, it's just kind of about her starting over, and the new guy that she's rooming with, you know, he's just like a very chill guy, and he's trying to show her around because he, you know, finds out that she really didn't like get out very much and stuff. And so yeah, it's a really cute, nice little story. I feel like it is like one of those slow burn books / romances. So if you're a fan of that, I'd say, you know, I'd recommend it for sure. But yeah, funny story. Okay, next up is The Love of My Afterlife by Kirsty Greenwood. This one was fun. So our main character, she basically dies in the beginning and she goes to the afterlife. And when she's in the afterlife, she has this like really quick connection with another person who's there, another guy who shows up in the afterlife. And she thinks that like he would have been her soulmate on Earth. And basically she has what is called an afterlife therapist that basically says that she'll send her back to Earth to live again if she can find that guy and get him to kiss her. And you know, this is all like in the plot. I don't want to give like too much more away, but yeah, this one was definitely a fun read for sure. You know, it's got the realism, but then also some fantasy going on. Yeah, this one was a good read. I would definitely recommend this one as well. And then the last book that I have read is The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. And I'm sorry I have to keep like turning the book around to look, but I do forget the titles and names pretty easily. But I literally just finished this one yesterday. And, you know, I do think there is a thing such as like recent bias. So like, you know, if you've just finished something, you might be like more high on it as opposed to waiting a little bit to process. But as of right now, this has been my favorite book of the year that I've read. You know, this is not new for this year. I believe it came out in 2023. This is actually the first time that I've read something by this author as well, but I loved this book so much. I kind of was anticipating that I was going to, just based on the plot. But then, I don't know, when I started reading it, I got a little worried that maybe it wasn't going to be for me. But man, once I got going, I could not put this book down. It was probably the quickest read that I've had this year. I finished it within like a week, and that's, you know, pretty quick for me personally. But let me get to the plot. So the plot is there's this family, the Pharaohs, and they basically have this curse in the women's side of the family, and they can basically like time travel. I don't want to give too much away, but there's some time travel involved and some different timelines. You are following, you know, one specific character named June, and it's kind of just, there's something that she's trying to figure out that has happened in her life. She's trying to kind of like put the pieces together with that to find out what really did happen. And so, yeah, I just love this book so much. Definitely recommend checking this one out. I am super excited to check out some more books by this author now. But yeah, guys, that is all I've read this year so far. Like I said, I do feel like I'm getting a little bit quicker with my reading, and so that's kind of exciting because, you know, the quicker you read, the more books you can read, so that's always a win. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. Make sure to comment what you guys have been reading, or maybe what you're currently reading right now. Make sure you like this video, and, you know, of course, subscribe. Yeah, hopefully the more I do this, the smoother it'll be. But and I'm sure this is a temporary background for now. My kids are home for the summer, and so where I plan to film will be open once they go back to school here in just a couple of weeks. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.